Good morning. Welcome to worship at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Ventura. I am Pastor Erik Halseth, minister here at UUCV. I use he, they pronouns, and what a great post-protest day it is. Welcome to everyone here in the sanctuary, and welcome to all of you on Zoom. No matter how you got yourself to this place of sanctuary, whether driving, cycling, wheeling, zooming, stepping with care, or parachuting in from a hot air balloon, I am glad you have joined us. This is a community made up of many beliefs, identities, origins, sexualities, and genders, and all are welcome here. A land acknowledgement is a critical step towards working with Indigenous communities to secure meaningful partnership and inclusion in the stewardship and protection of their cultural resources and homelands. Our institutions were founded upon exclusions and erasures of Indigenous people. We honor and are grateful for the land we occupy and recognize the ongoing damage of settler colonialism. Specifically, we acknowledge that the land on which we gather in this sanctuary, known today as Ventura, of course, is the ancestral and unceded territory of the Chumash Ventureño people, who have stewarded this land for thousands of years. We honor their ancestors, elders, and descendants as they continue their deep spiritual and cultural connections to these lands and waters. If you have a chance, visit one of the many historical and living sites, as well as museums in Ventura and Santa Barbara counties that provide educational opportunities to learn about Chumash culture and history. Announcements. We have a lot of them today. It just worked out that way. Let's see, should we start? We're going to start with a very exciting piece of news. Auction bidding ends at 8 p.m. tonight. That's not the exciting part. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. The exciting part is that we are already over $30,000. And that is a record. It is blown past the old number. So congratulations, thank you. Your generosity and your participation in the auction is amazing. Our second announcement, tonight in Isla Vista, so a 65+ mile drive, but it's a reverse commute going there. There's going to be a movie, and I saw some of these sheets of paper in Berg Hall called Earth's Greatest Enemy. It's going to be at the Ivy Theater, number 1, 950 Embarcadero, tonight at 5. There are more. This Friday is Family Movie Night, and it is a double feature. Hocus Pocus, Halloween theme, clearly, starts at 4:30, followed by Hocus Pocus 2 at 6 p.m. or whenever the first movie ends. Popcorn and kid-friendly liquid refreshments will be served. Next Sunday, 10/26, after the service, the Health and Safety Ministry team will give a presentation on protecting UUCV from ICE and other threats. More information will be coming during the week. You can still vote today for which organizations will receive our next round of offerings. Ballots are at the doors leading into Berg Hall, both on this side and that side, and at the connecting table, there are still ballots. You can vote for who you'd like the plate to go to. And lastly, because this week's theme is the Filipino concept of community through the lens of Bayanihan, I wanted to let you know that it's Filipino History Month, and the Filipino American Fiesta will be happening from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. today at the Museum of Ventura County at 100 East Main Street. That's all of them. Let me remind you to refer to the announcements in the weekly email message, UUCV This Week, for current announcements. And finally, for those who may be new to the church, the section of seats over here on your right is for those who continue to mask, and the windows are open over there as well. So if you would please, if you are not needing to wear a mask or wanting to, let those seats be available for people who would like to wear a mask. Now, enter with me this sacred space. Bring with you what is yours: a burdened heart, a joyous song, a wearied spirit, a seeking mind. Bring the gift of yourself to the altar. It is an honorable gift. Let us enter sacred space.
Associate Sue Brinkmeyer, and I want to invite those of you who are streaming into this service to light a chalice or candle at home. And I want to invite Royden, a member of our children here in the congregation, to come up with his grandfather, Jim, and light our chalice here with Pastor Erik. Always a joy. Thank you so much. Our call to worship this morning is "We Need One Another" by Eric Walker Wickstrom. We come together this morning because within us there is something that knows we need more than we can find in our aloneness. We know instinctively in the depths of ourselves that we need others for this journey of life, even though we also guard our independence and individuality quite jealously. So let us celebrate all that makes us unique, yet also all that makes us one. And let us dream dreams of all that we can be, all that we can do together. Come, let us worship together.
Well, good morning, y'all. I'm Zach Spencer, and I invite you all to rise in body or in spirit as you are able, as we sing number 1008, "When Our Heart is in a Holy Place."
Blessed with love and amazing grace, when our heart is in a holy place. When we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a when our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place. are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our heart stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
My name is Lily Rappaport. I'm the Director of Family Ministry, and now is the time to invite all those young or young at heart to come join me up front for the time for the child in each of us. And as you come forward, if you would, collect the cans that people have brought for Ride Alliance 805, supporting our immigrant neighbors.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this
Put it right in the basket there.
from you I receive, and you I give. Together we share, and from this
And there's some people there.
we live.
I think you're done, Luciano. Well, today's story takes us to the Philippines. That's on the other side of the world. It's a country made up of thousands of islands with beautiful beaches and rich cultural diversity. But sometimes big storms called typhoons blow through, and they can be very strong. So strong they could tear roofs off houses. Many families live in homes made of light wood and metal, which can break easily in the wind. But even when things get scary, people help each other. That special spirit of teamwork is called Bayanihan, and the story is called A Roof, written by Stephanie Ellen Sy. The sky looks full of clouds, right? See the picture? What do you think's going to happen? Storm is coming. Howl, rumble, wee-haw! Whoosh, whirl, thud. What has fallen in the backyard? A roof. And do you notice on the corner it says, if you go back, please, if found, please return to. There's words written down there, okay? Maya's heart races. Tate, whoever lost his roof must be soaked. We need to return it. Tate rolls the thin metal roof like a lumpia. Let's go and find them, Anak. They march through a forest, over leaves and moss, under tangled branches until they reach a crumbled hillside that buried and blocked the road. Maya's face falls. Where are you going with that roof? A farmer asks. It landed in our yard and we're trying to return it, Maya explains. We can help, the farmer says. The farmer and his caribou. Caribou? Okay. Hauls and heave to clear a path. Hop on our cart, he calls. And they ride over a mountain through giant palms and ferns, under ribbons of waterfall until they reach a raging river that swells and swallowed the road. Maya's stomach sinks. "Where are you going with that roof?" the fishers ask. "It landed in our yard and we're trying to return it," Maya explains. "We can help. Hop in our boat," they say. They all sat around trees and knotted roots rising from the water. Oh, they sail around the trees and the knotted roots rising from the water. Fiddler crabs wave, hello. Needlefish zip and leap. Flocks of egrets fill the sky. And suddenly, a sea of splintered trees scatter like matchsticks, threatening to block their way. "We can't turn around now," Maya says. She jumps out and starts to push. Tay runs over and digs. The farmer sprints across his caribou, and they drag. The fishers trail behind and pull. Many people come to help. A shoemaker, some pearl divers, a pig farmer, a laundry worker, an ice cream seller, a gold miner, a dream weaver, a cook, a healer, a wood carver, a surfer, and a shopkeeper. Hand in hand, they climb past the cars, lift each other over broken windows, and lead one another around roofs like the one that they carry. Because there's a lot of roofs on the ground. "Our roof!" a family exclaims. Tears ran down, hugs flood in, and laughter sweep through the crowd. Maya's heart explodes with joy. Do you think she feels good when she delivered the roof? And together they rebuild, nail after nail, board after board, heart after heart, with more tears, with more tears and hugs and laughter until the house stands stronger, the family taller, and their hearts are full of hope again. Tay passes one last nail to the farmer, who passes it to the fishers, and then the shoemaker, the pearl divers, and the pig farmer, the laundry worker, the ice cream seller, the gold miner, the dream weaver, and the cook, then the healer, the wood carver, the surfer, and the shopkeeper, and finally to Maya, who hammers it into the roof, strengthening the house with everyone's faith and love. Tay, can we look for more roofs to return? Maya asks. Tay smiles. Let's go find some, Anak. And that's the end. And now, if you would, in the center aisle, stand up and form a bridge of love so we could sing the children out to their classrooms.
Well, we don't have a roof we need to return today, but we do have an offering to take up together, as we do each week, to support our community through funds that help people in our own church or help folks outside the church who are in need of our support. If you're joining us via Zoom, you can give through the link posted in the chat or by texting to the number on the screen. Folks here in the sanctuary can also text to give at that number, or you can drop a check or cash in the box on the back wall of the sanctuary now or after the service. Our offering today goes to Ventura Homeless Prevention to help our neighbors here in the city of Ventura who are facing eviction and homelessness. It helps by providing the temporary rent assistance they need to stay in their homes. $1,200 is all it takes on average to keep a whole family housed. And over 90% of those who receive this rental assistance are still in their homes 1 year later. So a small amount of money prevents a lot of suffering, and it is a wonderful example of Bayanihan. It is the community coming together and selflessly providing donations to help those in the community who are in need. And this congregation deserves a lot of credit for the fundraiser that made Ventura Homeless Prevention able to begin this work back in 2007 took place right here in this sanctuary. And this church is where we receive our mail and where we meet with clients. I use words like we and our in speaking about Ventura Homeless Prevention because I've served as its president and board chair of this, my favorite charity, since 2010. And I'll be at the Connecting Center in Berg Hall after the service if you'd like to know ways you might volunteer to help us help even more of our Ventura neighbors stay in their home. Already this year, your support has been part of preventing homelessness for 84 households. That is 130 adults and 107 children. Your donations have helped keep safe in their homes. And back, yeah. Thank you. They're all back to paying their own rent again. Ventura Homeless Prevention is only able to do this work because of generosity of our donors, and this church has always been among our most generous supporters. So thank you for giving generously today, as you always do. Indeed. Thank you, Zach. That is so beautiful. And we thank those of you in the congregation for your generosity, which helps us weave that tapestry of love we call community. Another way we weave that tapestry is by sharing with one another the great joys and sorrows that grace our lives. We place stones in water for both the celebrations and sorrows in our hearts, making ripples that are felt throughout our community. You can submit a joy or sorrow for sharing via a link on our website, uuventura.org, or in our Thursday email bulletin. I invite you now to speak into the gathered community or write into the Zoom chat the names of those you wish to celebrate, memorialize, or bring into the loving embrace of this beloved community. Pastor Erik will now place one final stone in the water for all the joys and sorrows just shared and those yet unspoken in the silent sanctuary of our hearts. May we be truly grateful for all that is our life.
Please remain seated as we join each other in singing number 1009, Meditation on Breathing. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll bring in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out.
These words of what seem like great wisdom to me are from Mark Morrison Reed. The central task of a religious community is to unveil the bonds that bind each to all. There is a connectedness, a relationship discovered amid the particulars of our own lives and the lives of others. Once felt, it inspires us to act for justice. It is the church that assures us that we are not struggling for justice on our own, but as members of a larger community. The religious community is essential, for alone our vision is too narrow to see all that must be seen, and our strength is too limited to do all that must be done. Together, our vision widens and our strength is renewed.
I invite you now into a time of meditation. The Reverend Dr. Morrison Reed speaks to us of connectedness, community, and justice. As we sit in meditative silence this morning, let us hold these three things in our hearts and minds. Place your feet upon the floor, close your eyes if you wish, and breathe in and breathe out. Noticing your breath both as it comes in and it goes out. Relax in this moment and just breathe.
out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place if you can. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place if you can. Take a little time out of your busy day to give encouragement to someone who's lost the way. Or would I be talking to a stone if I asked you to share a problem that's not your own? We can change things if we start giving. Why don't you reach out and touch somebody's hand? Make this world a better place if you can. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place if you can. If you see an old friend on the street and he's down and you remember his shoes can fit your feet, oh, try a little kindness and you'll see it's something that comes so naturally. We can change things if we start giving. Why don't you reach out and touch somebody's hand? Make this world a better place. I know you can. Oh, reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place if you can. If you see an old friend on the street and he's down and you remember that his shoes can fit your feet, well, try a little kindness and you'll see it's something that comes so naturally. We can change things if we start giving. Well, I'd reach out and touch somebody's hand.
I got to pick this up. It's bugging me. I was going to see it out of the corner of my eye the whole time, and it was going to be distracting. How many of you were at the protest at the government center? Yeah. So, I should have asked it the other way around, but I don't want to call anybody out. But that's a lot of people. Jackie and I actually convinced the kids to accompany us to the protest. They didn't stay home with grandma, and kids being kids, they hung out on the grass in the shade. They didn't go wandering around. It was pretty loud. And I just went wandering. I was saying hi to folks I found from the church where I could find you. You are all new faces. I did my best. The Stand with, the Side with Love t-shirts helped. But were there not a lot of people wearing shirts that were almost the same color there? Yellow was the color. I was there, so being part of the event, lending another presence to the 8,000 or so folks. That's what they said when they were doing the speeches at the end. I don't know if that's true, but it was supposedly nationwide, 7 million people instead of 5 million last time. That's a big increase. We'll have a talk sometime about what it will take, though, because it's more than 7 million. Towards the end of the 2 hours that we spent at the protest, I wandered up to Thill Street and crossed over Victoria to the northwest corner of the intersection, my last spot to search out other UUs or friends in attendance. Alas, I found no one there. Well, there were people, but not my friends, and I didn't find any UUs. When I went back to the intersection to walk across Thill Street, headed back to join the family, the light gave us a go, and the crowd started walking across the street. A guy in a big dark blue pickup truck started turning right. And then he started yelling at us, at all of us walking across the street. Like yelling, a 2-word, 7-letter phrase that my kids will only spell out, that starts with the letter F and ends with the letter U, yelling it over and over. And then he started edging his truck forward through the crosswalk as we were walking, forcing the folks on the sidewalk to either stop walking and the rest of us who are already in the crosswalk to hurry up and get out of his way. As he did this, he continued yelling out of the window at all of us, the same 2-word phrase repeated over and over and over and over. He looked back after he had driven just past the crosswalk, stopped the truck, and then started screaming it again. He had some anger issues, I think. And I will deny this forever. It ended up, I know the service is going to end up on YouTube. Maybe we'll edit out this little section. I may have had a moment of weakness. While standing in the far side of the crosswalk before I got to the sidewalk, I was looking over my shoulder at him, and I may have let him know how I felt. And I admit, it felt good in that moment. What do we do when we come face to face with the very thing, a person who is an exemplar of the hated other, that stands in opposition to everything we believe? How do we behave? How do we act? And this is exactly the thing we talked about last week when we were talking about Ubuntu. Remember, or if you weren't here, Ubuntu is the word from Southern Africa that means, I am because you are, because we are. And we talked about the possibility that we become who we are, not necessarily because of the positive community around us, but because when the larger community has such a monumental divide, such as the one we see at a national level right now, and apparently in our community too, and in that crosswalk at the corner of Victoria and Thill, we become who we are by reflecting the polar opposite of the negative that we experience in the world. I'm still wrestling with that. But let us explore an alternative way of relating to community. The Philippines is, as you are aware, a largest country that, as Lily said, is made up of thousands of islands. It's over 7,500. They stretch over 1,000 miles north to south and about 700 miles east to west. Because of this large geographical dispersion and the isolated nature of living on mountainous islands, many different languages or dialects, as Filipinos might say, exist. There are 2 official languages in the Philippines, English and Tagalog. Both of these are learned in school, with a 3rd language also part of many people's lives depending on where they live. Of the indigenous languages, The most spoken single language is Tagalog, with approximately 25 million people plus or minus speaking it at home, primarily in the northern area around Manila and its wider environs, the islands right around there. Second is Bisaya, also called Cebuano, spoken by about 20 million people, spread among the islands of Cebu, Mindanao, and other islands in the area around those two main islands. But if you expand into the larger family of related Bisayan languages, including Bisaya, you also have Hiligaynon, also known as Ilonggo, and Waray-Waray. The number grows to about 35 million, so this family of languages is also quite large, roughly equivalent. The reason for this linguistic detour to discuss the two largest linguistic groups in the Philippines will become apparent in a little bit. So one day, maybe 18 months ago, our family went to Seafood City in Oxnard right around the time of its grand opening. It may have been like 20 months, something like that. It's a Filipino grocery store, and we're still waiting for one to open in Thousand Oaks. Probably not going to happen. When we walked into the store, the first thing we saw was all of the home goods. They sell rice cookers. The kids want the Hello Kitty version. Plates, glasses, that kind of stuff that you might find in any grocery store in, a certain spot or wherever. And they also have t-shirts advertising Seafood City. One of the t-shirts caught my eye as it had an illustration of a house on it. And surrounding the house were a bunch of people, and the people appeared to be carrying the house on their shoulders. I mean, it wasn't a big brick mansion. It was more like a modest house made from bamboo and with a thatch roof and walls, and I think you saw it in the story today. So probably hundreds and hundreds of pounds, but not literally tons of weight. And written next to the illustration of the house on the t-shirt was the word Bayanihan. And that's B-A-Y-A-N and then I-H-A-N. So Bayanihan. Bayanihan. So I asked Jackie about it, my fiance at the time, and she simply said, that's Bayanihan, moving the house. The community moves the house. With my curiosity piqued, I embarked on research into the meaning of Bayanihan. Bayanihan in Bisaya or Cebuano means being in the community, or I am the community. You could also flip that around. The community is me. It's a statement of belonging, not just a noun describing a group of people. And it can be expanded beyond just the local community to address feelings of community that you might feel as it relates to a larger town, a big city, a region, a county, Ventura County, a country. I don't know if it goes all the way to global community. It seems like that is a tough one. Like, we're not there yet. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. The Oxford English Dictionary defines the etymology of the Tagalog version of the word as bayani, to work unpaid, plus han, which is the suffix, forming nouns denoting reciprocal or mutual action. And here's a definition from MIT's Cooperative Computing Lab regarding what they called Project Bayanihan. Bayanihan is a Filipino word derived from the word bayan, meaning town, nation, or community in general. Bayanihan literally means being a bayan, and is thus used to refer to a spirit of communal unity and cooperation. All right, so that's a picture of what is called a nipa hut, or a Bahay kubo, which is a house made from the materials such as that are in the picture. You have bamboo, you have, it looks like some wooden planks, you have some reeds for the roof. We had a metal roof in the story. You use what you have. The house needs to go somewhere because depending on what time of year it is, you could have flooding in one spot because it's the monsoon season. Or maybe if you're in a really rural area and you're living more, growing things and eating the food that you grow, you have to move it depending on the time of the year for what you're doing. Underneath the house, you can see, well, the people aren't underneath the house, they're carrying it. But you can see, I hope the mic's turned on. I'm going to go to this one. Is that all right? Not that one. I'm going to go to this one. You can see those right there, those are big pieces of bamboo. Giant, like, it looks like it's about this big around. You have a little kid here, and you have a bunch of other people, and they're literally putting the bamboo on their shoulders and lifting up the house and taking it to where it needs to go. Bayanihan is all about the community coming together to do something. Yesterday was Bayanihan. That was the community coming together. This community, almost everybody went to the protest who's in this room today. I don't know about on Zoom. Probably. That's Bayanihan. Last week we talked about Ubuntu, which is a more interfacing form of community. I become who I am because I reflect who you are, which is maybe what happened to me at the protest. I reflected something back at that person. And so a little bit different. Interestingly, I just talked about MIT's Cooperative Computing Lab, shared computing, where you go with your browser and you can participate in computing activities by essentially giving the computing power of your computer to whatever projects they're working on. MIT is not the only place that has done this. Sony did this with the PlayStation, the video games. You could take your PlayStation and you could help with a computing project. There's a Linux operating system called Ubuntu that's community developed. It's open source. I don't know really why I'm telling you this, other than people have picked up on this idea of community, and it's resonated in kind of nerdy technical spaces, at least, and I apparently am a little nerdy. But Bayanihan imparts the feeling of intrinsically being part of the community. I am the community. The community is me. And whether it's a cooperative computing group or carrying a house on our shoulders, it's the same thing. We are participating in the community. We are giving to the community. And what we saw yesterday was this community giving to the protests. And in the wider community, we saw whatever number it is, several thousands of people. A lot of people. And again, not just being part of the community. Like, that's a thing. I'm making a decision. I'm going to be part of the community. I am the community. It's a little different way of thinking about it. And when we consider the community and ourselves one and the same, the community takes on more meaning as the self and the other take on equal importance. We do the thing not because we have to do the thing. We do the thing, whatever it is, because if we don't do the thing, we're hurting ourselves, because we're part of the community that needs our help. And here we are. Yesterday was, in all likelihood, the largest single day of protest in the history of this country. And we are at odds with approximately half of our fellow Americans. We may be as out of community as a country as we've ever been. If you recall my story earlier about the guy driving his truck through the crosswalk yesterday, and given my denial that I may have reacted to his behavior, I may occasionally slip as I try to live into community, to live into our principle of love that's at the center of everything. I'm a human being. My visceral reaction to that dangerous act of driving through the crosswalk, well, I'm not proud of it, may have been a manifestation of my own anger over the last 9 years, and is exactly the opposite, of course, of how we should react. But it might not be possible at this time, while our country is perhaps proceeding apace down a slippery slope towards wherever we are headed. And I'm not sure that either concept of community, either Bayanihan or Ubuntu, solves that issue. But it brings together the thousands of people who are working to solve that issue. And that in and of itself is a noble goal. I'm not going to dwell on it, though. I'm just going to keep doing the work. I've got these feelings, but we still have to do the work. And here, all of us, we share something. We have a common faith in humanity that draws us together, even if and when we are confronted with oppositional values that sometimes might shatter that faith and make it difficult to continue on. Our values, whether espoused in the new Article 2 or the old one, calls us to action, calls us to justice, and calls us to a place of love. And why then are we talking about Bayanihan today? Maybe because we might need that form of community right now. We need to feel like we have to have support as we try to do the work necessary to lift up the rights of those among us who may feel like the future is an unknown. Other people who, when we do a thing, when we take an action, will put their metaphorical shoulders under the poles, it's still there, that support the nipa hut. We need to support those who are worried that the hard-earned gains of the past may be ripped away at any time. And not because they are doing something for us, but because we know that we are all part of this community, the larger community outside of this space, part of the country. We need to feel like the community has our back while we do that work, and each of us needs to be that community for others so they can do the work, and they're going to do the same thing back for us. Like I said earlier, technically the definition of Bayanihan is I am the community. I think it can be flipped. The community is also me. That gives me more ownership of it. Our path forward is not going to be easy. And there's going to be a lot of work to do in the coming months and years. We're going to need each other, and we're going to need this community. I'm going to end this with the final section of a poem from what's called Rubor. It's the annual journal or magazine of the University of Utah School of Medicine. It's called, of all things, Bayanihan. It's by Tricia Pauline D. Enriquez, a Filipino student who attended the medical school and graduated at the end of last year. The beginning of the poem has a similar description of Bayanihan through the action of carrying the nipa hut or Bahay Kubo. So I figured we would skip that and go straight to the part at the end that kind of brings it all into a poetic description of what we've been talking about. We fall in line, we grip the bamboo pole, we make the trek and shoulder the haul. We don't let the patient carry their Bahay Kubo all on their own. The Bahay Kubo that holds burdens. The Bahay Kubo that holds a precious, shining, and full life. As my ancestors carried the lives of their neighbors on their shoulders, I too will carry the lives of my neighbors on my shoulders. What a privilege to be part of Bayanihan, where life is carried on the shoulders of the community. May it be so, be Shamaleh, and Amen.
I invite you all to rise in body or in spirit as you're able, as we sing number 131, Love Will Guide Us.
I invite you to join me in reading the words on the screen as we prepare to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. Those we carry into our lives until we are together again.
All of you here in the sanctuary today are invited after the service for coffee, tea, bagels, and conversation in our community room, Berg Hall. There might also be a few sweet treats in there too, some Bundt cupcakes, Turon, which is a sweet banana and jackfruit treat that is wrapped in a caramelized spring roll wrapper. It's Filipino. And maybe some pan de salt bread, which is also a traditional bread there. Also, all visitors and guests are enthusiastically invited to stop by the connecting table right through those double doors over there for a chat. Nearby is our welcome table where you will find information about our church and about our faith tradition, Unitarian Universalism. Our benediction today is from Liturgies from Below, an edited set of prayers and different things from around the world. It's edited by Claudio Carvajales. This is called Keep Your Eyes Wide Open. Keep your eyes wide open, your hands willing, your hearts generous, your ears attentive, your senses awake, your feet light, your hope alive, and your faith on fire. Go and shine wherever you may be. Go and embrace with tenderness all of life, with its sorrows and its joys. Go and know what the universe expects and what your siblings seek. May the creative force bless you, may the universe sustain you, and may you be encouraged and enveloped by the tender breath that brings freedom. May it be so.
Amen.